Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you all. Hope everybody had a great Father's Day weekend and a great weekend in general. So glad to be with you again on OnPattison Podcast. I am Bob Cooney here with Tim Kelly, getting you through another Tuesday. Worst day of the week, right, Tim? Tuesday?
Sure. I mean, I don't have any specific beef with Tuesday, but now that you say it, it's not the best.
I'll drill that into your head from here on out, but we got a good show for you here today. A lot of things coming up in the city, a lot of things going on in the city with the Phillies. Want to thank our friends at Wapner Newman for being our friends here on the podcast. Joseph Wechter Jr. is producing with us today, and today we start out with a very special guest, and we're talking about things that are going on in the future of the city. Well, we have the All-Star Game coming up here in a couple of weeks, and a member of the 1996 National League All-Star team, just a few years ago that was, Ricky Bottalico joins us now on the podcast. Ricky, how are you, buddy?
Good. How you guys doing? Excited to be on.
Good. We're so glad to have you. Ricky, of course, of Unfiltered on 97.5 The Fanatic, afternoon show there, and pre- and post-game show on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Ricky, I mentioned, and we may have a clip that we need to show, you were a 1996 All-Star, the only Philly to represent the team that year. Let's show this little clip of you back then, Ricky, because you haven't changed all that much at all.
All right. I mean, you're
Do we have sound with this, or is it
facing Cal Ripken was not the funnest thing at that given point. Bob, you may remember in that game, he broke his nose taking pictures.
Right. So I wanted Tim to hear this story. So, Ricky, that was your inning. That was your fifth inning right there. Yeah. You faced Pudge Rodriguez, struck his ass out. You had Cal Ripken, made him fly out, I believe. Then it was Brady Anderson. Was that the year that Brady went for like 50 home runs and 140 RBIs? Yeah. Okay.
He was roided.
Yeah. He gets on base due to an error by your third baseman. I guess it was Chipper.
Ken Caminiti.
Oh, Caminiti came in. Chipper was the starter, though. Okay. And then you get Jay Buhner to line out to center field to end the somewhat perfect inning if it wasn't for Ken Caminiti. But
let me tell you about the Caminiti thing. When that happened, it was pretty easy play. I mean, it was a left-handed hitter. It was like a two-hopper on AstroTurf to Caminiti, and he boots it, and he comes like over to me and like throws the ball in my glove and goes, had to be you pitching right now, didn't it? As if these people don't hate me enough already, he said. It was kind of funny.
That is funny. I noticed like when you're introduced before it even gets to the game, you put your hat up. It says, "Hi, Graham." What did your grandmother mean to you that you wanted to kind of get that message out there?
In all honesty, all my family members were there, with the exception of my grandmother. I mean, she was older at the time, so she was in Connecticut. So obviously watching the game on TV. So I just kind of wanted to tell her hello and, make her feel good that she's being thought of before the game. So, I mean, it would have been nice to have her there, but it was one of those things where we just couldn't do it at that point.
Ricky, what were the nerves? They announced you have 62,670 people in Veterans Stadium at the time. What were your nerves?
I was more nervous to the fact that I was the only Philly, and I didn't want, we had a shutout going, and that's what we ended up, I believe we won the game 11-0.
6-0.
And I'm thinking to myself, man, don't go out there and just have a blow up inning. Cause I mean, that was like, you get a standing ovation on the way in and like the whole way in, I'm thinking, all right, just don't screw this up. I mean, so I don't know if it was really nerves or it was just one of those things where, it was a bad thought going through your head. But I mean, my whole thought process was, be yourself. Just try to get through the inning, try to make the fans proud is what it really kind of came down to.
Was there a specific guy you were excited to be team? Like Barry Bonds gets the ball hit to him there in left field by Cal Ripken. You go through those teams, and maybe it's because it was a steroid era, but I feel like the All-Star Game rosters back then, like every player at some point hit 40 home runs in their career.
Yeah, there were a bunch of big guys. I will tell you that much. I mean, you look at that lineup. I mean, Pudge, he's a Hall of Famer. You look at I guess the one guy that you would say something was like Jay Buhner, but he was one of the best hitters in baseball. I mean, this guy could rake. So it was always a challenge. You knew, let me put it this way, Bob was around. He used to watch. When you left the pitch out over the middle of the plate, there was a good chance it was going for a ride. And the way those guys hit the ball back then, I know a lot of people would say, well, nowadays they hit the ball so much harder. I don't know. I mean, I ended up playing with Mark McGwire, and watching him take batting practice was like me taking batting practice at a little league field. It was like a joke. And you know what? It wasn't fun. I'm not going to sit there and lie to you to say that it was great going up against these guys where you knew they were popping needles in their butts. I mean, it wasn't. It turned out to be good for baseball in a sense that there were a lot of home runs hit. But then, I mean, I always looked at it like these guys are stealing money out of the guys' pockets that aren't doing it. And that's the way I'll always look at it. Like I was thinking to myself, well, Barry Bonds was probably making one of the first guys to make $20 million. A-Rod, another one. Giambi, another one. They're stealing money from the rest of their own teams because, as you know, teams have a budget. They're not going to go over it. And I was always kind of like one of those guys. I actually stood up when Donald Fair, he was the president of the Players Association, came into a meeting when I was with the Cardinals. And his first thing that he said is, sooner or later, they're going to want testing for steroids. And I stood up immediately and I said, why don't we do it right now? You know what? Sit down. I'll talk to you after the meeting. Like, he wanted no part of that. They knew about it and they did nothing about it. Like they literally hoped it would just go away, and it wasn't going away.
I looked through the team that you were on back then in '96, Ricky. You had Bonds, as we said, Fred McGriff, Mike Piazza, Dante Bichette, Chipper Jones, coming off the bench, Ozzie Smith, and Tony Gwynn. So that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you leading up to this, Rick. What was it like walking into the clubhouse or wherever you walked into where you were all first assembled to see these guys? Not that you're not, that you didn't belong, but that had to be pretty cool.
Well, it was different. I mean, you got to understand. I mean, 4 years before that, I'm playing in a beer league in Connecticut. I mean, and to be an all-star, it was something you dream about as a little kid. I think if you played baseball, you dreamt of getting to the big leagues, being an all-star. And it was just one of those things where I'll never forget, I walked into our own clubhouse on the home run derby day. And right as soon as you walk in is a table, and there's Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, Wohlers, and Chipper all playing cards at our table. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. These are the first guys that I have to see. And the worst part is I walk in, I take my normal right-hand turn where my locker would be, and they move my locker. Does that make any sense to anybody?
Violation.
Yeah, they moved my locker. Well, I had a big locker at that point. So it was kind of like they probably used it just for storage in during that time period. But it was different. I mean, you go in there, you're seeing Barry Bonds. You knew you were in the middle of greatness. I mean, Pedro Martinez. It was pretty cool. I think I felt, I wouldn't say left out. I just felt a little indifferent that I didn't have a teammate there. And, you're looking around. And it was pretty odd because me and Jason Kendall were two of those guys, and we ended up just kind of hanging out during the home run derby and, during the game because let's face it. I mean, when you go up against I hated them. Like I couldn't stand them back then. And I ended up being a teammate with Tom Glavine down the line, but you just had that edge where you just were like, this doesn't feel right, them in
Right.
my locker room and taking over the locker room. But it was, I was a little bit in awe. I'm not going to lie. In my opinion, I think that's how you should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
I think a lot of guys, like nowadays, I think it's so much different that there's so much acceptance for everybody. Back then, it was like you earned every step you went. But when you were a rookie, you had to earn it to get to that second year. And it never really ended in baseball. You always had to get to a different level. You wanted to get to your 5 years. Then you wanted to get to your 10 years. There was always a different level that you had to take those steps up. And it was almost like a membership fee you had to pay.
You have a very busy media schedule these days, but as the only All-Star then, what was your schedule like leading up those days in terms of local TV, radio, everything?
What was the what?
How many interviews did you have to do?
What was
because
that?
you're the only guy representing the Phillies.
Oh. Yeah, I pretty much especially on the day before the game, on the home run derby day, I had to put in, I think I had about 9 packs on my back and in my pocket, 9 microphones all lined up all over the place on me. So it was baseball. So I thought that was pretty cool. And it was just like one of those things where it was a little different, but I got to host This Week in Baseball. I had to go around and interview all the players that were on the field. I was actually on Arliss. Arliss was an agent show back then, and it was on HBO. I got on that show. So, I mean, there was a lot. I mean, every local station I had to do something with. Let's see, plus all Connecticut stations that were down there. So, yeah, a lot of packs, microphone packs on my back. The one thing that was the toughest thing about it is that I had to sign, like, this was no joke. We had these things in the clubhouse. They were the laundry baskets that everybody would throw their clothes in every day for 2 months. I had to sign autographs on baseballs for the season ticket holders for 2 months of those baseballs. It was hell.
Some would call it heaven, others call it hell. But Ricky, you mentioned when we brought you on, and Tim might not know this story, and some of our listeners out there being younger might not know this story. Cal Ripken was in the middle of his consecutive game streak. Okay, I believe it was the day before the All-Star game, right? That it was the Monday. Mm-hmm. So Tim, they're doing team pictures, and maybe you know this story. The American League lines up to do their pictures, and Ricky, I'll let you take it from here.
I don't know if it was the day before. It might have been that night.
Oh, really? It was the Tuesday?
Because I know it rained, and the things we were standing on were a little slippery. I do remember that, and he fell, and I think it was Hernandez, right? Hit him right in the nose and broke his nose. And I will say this much. We didn't know if he was going to play in the game, but he ends up going in there. And the only thing I could think of is don't hit this guy. I mean, can you imagine going in there and hitting him in the hand, breaking his hand or something? That's why I kind of threw it over the plate, because normally he's a guy you would get in on. And I was like, I'll just kind of throw it middle in, give him a chance, but not a good chance. But yeah, it was a bad thought process going through your head, because you were like, I don't want to be the one in an exhibition game to blow him out of the water and then everybody hate you in baseball forever.
Tim, can you imagine how Philadelphia would have reacted if Cal Ripken lost his consecutive game streak because he slipped off of a bench getting a picture taken?
Sorry, my mic was muted. They're doing construction on my street, but it would be something. It's like the second to the Kevin Costner, Cal Ripken rumor that's been out there for forever. But the last thing for me, I guess, on the All-Star game, is there anything this year you're looking forward to seeing? I think it's fair to say Citizens Bank Park is nicer than the Vet. Is there anything different you're hoping to see this time around?
I don't know if they're doing I mean, I guess they changed up the home run derby a little bit. There's no more timer on it. But how far are they going to hit these golf balls that they're hitting?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it is going to be ridiculous where some of these balls are going to land. I just think the energy is going to be a little different. Obviously, it's a different stadium than Veterans Stadium was. Veterans Stadium was huge. It was cavernous. And it was odd because that night was the smallest I've ever seen it, because it was past standing room only. I mean, it was mobbed. And like when you're in the stadium and you can't see a seat, it feels like it's right on top of you. And I think Philadelphia is not going to disappoint. That area down there, I know there's going to be 5,000 people at the game, but I would say I bet you there's 100,000 people in the area with stateside lot. I love that type of atmosphere. I just feel like that night is going to be like a big tailgate party outside. I think it's going to be one of those things. And as far as the game is the game. I think the home run derby is actually one thing that a lot of people are looking forward to see at Citizens Bank Park, because it's fun. It's one of those things where guys just tee up, and Kyle Schwarber is going to be in it, and he's going to hit bombs. And and like I said, I know that they wind these balls about as tight as they will go for this home run derby. And these guys could hit the ball, and it's going to be interesting to see how far these guys. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me 550. I mean, even over that. It wouldn't surprise me, especially if it's warm like it can be in Philadelphia, and if the wind's blowing out a little bit. Woo! I mean, to me that's kind of fun. I'm just glad I don't have to pitch in it anymore.
And you know what, Ricky? Just a side comment here. I love the baseball All-Star Game because, unlike the other professional All-Star games, it's like you can't not go hard. You're not a pitcher that like, oh, I'm just going to throw at 80 now, or I'm just going to, half swing or anything. These guys have to play hard, because if not, bad things are going to happen. You're not going to show yourself the way you want to show yourself, as opposed to other sports. But that leads to my question to you, Ricky. Who's an All-Star on the Phillies this year? How many do they have, and who do you think they are?
I think the locks are Duran. Obviously, Christopher Sanchez. Mm-hmm. I think Schwarber is an ultimate lock. Now, here's where it gets a little fishy, because I think Brandon Marsh is getting in by vote. I think he deserves to get in by vote. So I think he's in. So now we're looking really at Schwarber, right, is one of them. And then you look at Zach Wheeler. Has Wheeler pitched enough this year to get in? I think that's the question that will go out there. And I think Harper gets in because it's in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure his numbers would get him in right now. I mean, he's still got some time to put up numbers, but I mean, Bryce is Bryce and everybody knows it. But I think Major League Baseball knows that the fans of Philadelphia want to see him in this game. So I think he gets in one way or the other.
So you got 6. You got 6.
Yeah.
I don't think you could really go over 6.
No.
I mean, I think this last weekend, though, maybe helped Bryce Harper a lot, having those signature moments. Obviously, Kyle Schwarber has been trending in that direction. What did you make of this last weekend overall? Because it excluding Thursday, which almost felt like a different series because of the off day on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, those to me were some of the more memorable games I've ever covered.
Yeah, there's a dual thing here. I mean, when you think about Kyle Schwarber was basically brushed away for a 3 home run game. I mean, let's be completely honest about this. Harper gets that cycle, and you could tell when he got to third base that was something that he's wanted his whole life. I mean, let's face it. He has goals, and now I think the only goal left is to win a World Series. And, that's not just on him, which probably makes it tough on his psyche. But it is one of those things that's probably one of his goals is just to win a World Series now. He's got the cycle. He's got MVPs. He's got everything. Well, maybe a Gold Glove he probably wants. But, I mean, that weekend, that was pretty special. Schwarber hits 4 home runs. Harper just explodes. And I think you're right, Tim, in the sense that because he hit for the cycle, more people will notice. Oh, Bryce Harper's still alive. Bryce Harper could still play the game. And that could actually kind of push him over the top for the All-Star game also. So, I mean, there's a lot of little nuances to this past weekend. The other thing that came out this past weekend, the Mets stink. I mean, no, I'm talking about like fundamental plays, and that includes Bo Bichette. I mean, he had a ground ball to him, tapping his glove, throw. I mean, just I don't know. The one play that really stands out, I know a lot of people say the Soto running mistake because that was pretty bad too. But Stott hits a fly ball to left. Did anybody see this where Soto deked? And it literally was, if he just went one step back, he would have caught the baseball. I don't know what he was doing. It's just, that dude is mind-boggling. Once in a while, he'll go and make a play like he did down the left field line that day. And then he'll just, who is this guy? I mean, that's why I'm happy the Phillies never got into that one.
Yeah, the Vientos thing, I think on what was it, Saturday night, I believe, where what did he do? He hit a foul ball, and then he just like strolled back to the batter's box. It took him like 20 minutes to get from first base back to the batter's box. Like, I'm sitting there thinking, what is going through these guys' minds? If I'm a teammate and I'm looking at him, like, come on, dude, let's go. We're playing a game here. We're not, it's not all about you. Mets are in a bad place. I totally agree with you. But it brings to my question to you, Ricky. What's the identity of this Phillies team? We've seen them do what they do this year, from bad to pretty good, and gotten themselves in a decent position. What's not only the identity now, but what's the identity that they have to be to sustain success?
I just think they're a good team. I don't know. If I was doing tiers, and I've said this, I think the Dodgers, Braves, and Brewers are all on one tier right now. Now, Can the Phillies enter that tier? Yes, but they have to start beating good teams. I mean, I think that's been their issue all season long. They didn't, the Braves, the Brewers, the Dodgers. I mean, these are the teams that you have to beat. But I look at those three as top tier, and then I have the Phillies by themselves. Like, I don't have anybody else that's in the Phillies tier. Like, the Phillies aren't quite right now up at the top tier, but they're not in the lower tier, because that lower tier to me is teams that are close to 500 and don't really have that look that they could go way above 500.
Right.
Okay. So I think there's literally like 12 teams in that bottom tier, and then you have the Phillies in the middle. I just think that's where they are. But to get over that hump, they have to start beating those teams above them. That's really the bottom line. And I know right now, I believe they have 7 series in a row against subpar teams.
Yeah. And then they come out of the All-Star break, and the Mets stink, like you said, but you got the Dodgers and Yankees in that first homestand, which should be tough. The last thing for me, kind of along those lines, is I think we all look at offense, probably a right-handed hitter, and say it's the biggest need, but you have fifth starter or fifth starter, maybe another lefty reliever. Do you still think offense is the biggest need at the deadline, or is there something else that jumps out more to you now?
I think you're very solid in starting pitching. I know a fifth starter, but look around baseball. I mean, a fifth starter is should be the least of your worries right now. The only thing you don't want to see is a bullpen game, because you don't need those guys getting any more blown out than they're going to be by the end of the season. I don't know. I would say a bullpen arm, and I'm talking like a late reliever arm. I don't have all the trust in Keller this year. I just, they always say the relievers go back and forth. They have a good year, bad year. I don't think this is his year. I just think the inconsistency level is way too high. And I don't know if they want Orion Kerkering to be that guy.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. Like somebody goes down, it's not like they throw Kerkering right into that spot and have him sit in that spot. So I have my questions about why they don't want to do that. So I think a bullpen arm is important. I mean, is one right-handed bat really going to change the lineup? I'm just being honest. Look, you have Kyle Schwarber, you have Trey Turner, you have Bryce Harper, you have Alec Boehm, who's been swinging the bat better. Stott's been swinging better. Marsh is one of the best hitters in baseball. That's 6 guys. I don't know what more you really need. I know it's a complaint that we could have all we want. They can't hit lefties. They have proven that time in, time out. Well, at least left-handed starters. And there was something Don Mattingly said last night that kind of piqued my interest. And if he was talking about the left-handed starter, Griffin, last night, for the Nationals. And what he said was change speeds a lot. And then at the end, he said, well, you know what? He pitched. That tells you a lot about what could beat the Phillies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It tells you if you're able to change speeds and go in and out with the baseball, which is what pitching is. It tells you a lot. That's coming from Don Mattingly. Yeah. So, I mean, if I were another, like he was basically saying, well, they don't throw hard. They just knew how to change speeds and keep the Phillies off balance. I don't know if he should have said that.
Well, lesson to be learned there too. All right, Ricky, last thing for you. It's been years since you were an All-Star.
A little bit.
What's changed about the game for the better in your eyes? And what's changed about the game that you don't like so much? I have a feeling I know one of the answers.
The speed of the game would be a number one. Okay. I like that I never would have used the pitch clock. It would probably get down to 8 at the most because I was fire away type guy. I don't like what has changed the most. I think hitters have changed in a sense that I still think that analytics has told them what to swing at. Like it was interesting because they were playing the Marlins last week. Jose Alvarado was in the game, and it was like a 2-2 pitch, and the ball ended up about 3 feet outside, and the hitter swung like it was a fastball. And I started thinking to myself, I know what they do. I've heard from players that they're told what pitches to look for, but I like the way a Brandon Marsh approaches hitting because when you look at him, I call him a little old school because what he does is he hits to all fields and he'll take what the pitcher gives him. That's the difference in the hitting. But I think like overall game, what I would change, I gotta go with the challenge. I think the challenge should not be waiting for a computer or a monitor to tell you what happened. I think just like in football, when they see it with the naked eye, the manager should have to throw a flag out immediately, or else they don't get a replay. Because doesn't it kind of seem like, oh, wait a minute, this could be minuscule. Give me remember Gabe Kapler?
Oh yeah.
Constantly Gabe Kapler, every play. I just think that they should have to be accountable themselves that they're watching the game. And if they think they're right, throw the flag. That's what I think.
I know you've had complaints about the pitching gun also. Real quick.
Well, it's proven that it's not. It is miles per hour, but it's arms. They're measuring arm speed.
Right. So Ricky Bottalico in this day and age would throw.
I don't know. I've seen people who have posted my stuff side by side to Jordan Hicks, and his pitch was either 102.9 or 103 point something, and my ball is equal to it. There
it is. The flame.
But that doesn't mean like anything. It just means that obviously I think what Major League Baseball wants is to see big numbers. They want fans to see big. No, let's face it. I see somebody throw 105 miles an hour. My eyes are popping out of my head. Sure. I mean, Mizorowski, are you kidding me? But that dude does have some gas. Yeah. I mean, his ball jumps. And you know what, Tim, you're around the game all the time. You could see it. Like you could literally see it, especially if you're down near the field. If somebody's really, really throwing hard, you almost see the ball jump to home plate. So, I mean, your eyes don't deceive you.
If you watch Aroldis Chapman pitch in person or Jacob deGrom when he was at his peak, like there's a difference.
Yeah, it is. Mizorowski's like that too.
Yeah. And you didn't see it, but I did, Tim, and a Ricky Bottalico. It was just different. That's what I'm telling you. It was just different. Ricky, listen, thanks so much. Thanks so much,
guys.
For joining us. Ricky. We will be watching you, listening to you, all the things you do on the media in Philadelphia, and we'll see you down the ballpark real soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Ricky Bottalico, 1996 All-Star. Good stuff there. Real good stuff there, like the inside. The one question I wanted to ask him was, I wonder what kind of swag he got as an All-Star back in 1996. Like, was there a big bag just waiting for Ricky Bottalico with diamonds and champagne and different stuff like that? Have you ever seen the swag in an All-Star game, Tim?
I've seen some of it. I like. Was there a jacket like the 1990s were the peak of like starter jackets and
That's
stuff?
right.
Was there like some? Is there somewhere in like a closet in Ricky's house? Is there some jacket with obnoxiously large stars on it that says 1996 All-Star Game? Because if so, it's probably really cool.
With Ricky right here along the left side.
Hi, my name is Ricky.
All-Star. Well, Ricky Bottalico's a winner, and winners win. Wapner Newman has been winning for families throughout the Philadelphia and New Jersey area since 1978. If you need a winner, call Wapner Newman at 215-569-0900 or visit wapnernewman.com. All right, we hit on it a little bit, Tim, but the Phillies get baffled last night by another starting left-handed pitcher who goes, Griffin goes, I think it was the longest he's gone in a game, the most pitches he's thrown in a game. We saw it again, just the off balance. And that kept coming up last night. Off balance. What is it? What is it with this team with left hand? Is it, I know it's physical. We know what it is, but is it mental too in your mind, Tim, that they're just like defeated maybe a little bit before the game even starts when they know they're facing a lefty?
Well, I thought what Ricky said about the Don Mattingly quote was interesting because the guy that really had them off balance, I felt like in the playoffs last year, was Blake Snell, who is a guy that is left-handed and can change speeds like that. So that is something to kind of file away. And obviously, yeah, I'm sure at this point, specifically for the right-handed hitters, but for the team as a whole, when they face a left-handed starter, it kind of is in the back of their head that we haven't done great this season against them if you're them. So again, though, it goes back to if Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper don't hit a home run, the Phillies aren't going to have a great offensive game. And Bohm has gotten better. Trey Turner is really still scuffling. I mean, that's the guy they need to get going. They need Trey Turner to get going. But I'm not disagreeing with what Ricky said, but even last year when they added Harrison Bader, that wasn't like adding 2008 Manny Ramirez to the lineup, but it still gave you another guy that lengthened the lineup, and you felt like you have a good chance that this guy's going to put the ball in play, hit it hard, get on base. Even if they just added a guy like that, I think obviously a right-handed version would be the ideal one. I think they'd be in a much better situation than they are now. They need you have such a good top 7 players on the roster. It'd be a shame to waste that, but I also think it's going to be tough to bridge the rest of the roster to the point where you're able to make a deep run in October this year.
Now we were there on Saturday when Don Mattingly told us in the dugout before the game that they were going to go with a different starter on Monday so that they could go Luzardo on Tuesday and basically put somebody in between that 5th starter, which was supposed to be last night, and Aaron Nola, who will be going tomorrow. But they didn't do it that conventionally, Tim. It had to take a little bit of a little bit of a turn at the fork instead of just going with Alan Rangel to start the game. Instead, they go with Tim Meza. Why? Why did that all come about? Why did that all happen? Why wasn't Rangel just in there to start the game last night?
Well, I think the thought is that the Nationals have some really good lefties at the top of their lineup, James Wood, C.J. Abrams. So you get through that once, and maybe you allow Alan Rangel to kind of get his feet wet at a lower part of the lineup, face those lefties. I think that made sense. It wasn't executed, and that's what we've talked about a lot with left-handed pitchers this year. And the thing is, Tim Mayza has been their best lefty, so that's an issue that they have. I don't think the issue was with the strategy last night. I expected them to use an opener against the Nationals. I think it was probably the right decision. I don't like openers, but I get openers. If you have Zach Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, of course, start them. Don't think about it. In games like last night, though, I think it makes sense. It just didn't work out. Maybe Kyle Backus should have been the guy, but that would have been his first appearance since April, and then you don't have him later in the game. So they desperately need someone else that's lefty to kind of emerge. That could be Jose Alvarado. It needs to be Jose Alvarado. But it may also be a thing where that's another need that they have at the deadline, and they don't have a lot to offer, as we've kind of beat that dead horse lately.
Yeah. Would you, now moving forward, would you just say, Alan Rangel, you're the 5th starter. Here you go. Here's the ball. No matter what, go get him, kid. Are we at that point, or do you think it's going to be a situation of, well, they do have 2 out of their 3 first hitters are left-handers, so we're going to do it again? Or was it just because this was maybe going to be his first outing, his first start, and that's why they did it?
Well, it's weird. Like, it didn't work with Mesa, but it kind of worked for Rangel. Like, Rangel didn't have to face those first few going, and then got into a groove and pitched pretty well. So I would expect probably, and I haven't looked ahead, is he starting this Sunday against the Mets? But regardless, I would expect next start he probably just does begin the game and is more of a traditional starter. But again, if you get into a situation where you're facing the Nationals or the Dodgers or some team that has some tough lefties that are going to hit in the top of the first inning, I don't think it's a bad idea to use the opener in that case. Like, there certainly are some guys, and I would even put Aaron Nola in this category in most cases, that have accomplished enough that it's kind of insulting to them to use an opener in front of them. I don't think that's the case with Alan Rangel, but I don't know that it's going to be an every game thing either.
So you will be going up to New York for the next series. You will get Sanchez, you will get Wheeler, you will get Rangel, and then you will get Luzardo. So 3 out of the 4 games, you're looking pretty good there. As Ricky said, the Mets, they're just a bad baseball team. But we're not there yet. We're still with Washington. Washington's putting together probably a better season than a lot imagined. And, them and the Phillies right there together, as Ricky talked about. And I liked his tier thing. I kind of agree with him on that the Phillies are kind of floating between, are they that upper tier or do they bounce down to the lower tier? So like you look at the remaining games in this series against Washington, look, it's the middle of June. We're not going to get to the, important, but there is an importance to these games more so because you started the season 9-19, right, Tim?
Yeah, without a doubt. The Nationals are in the wild card race, and right now that's where you are. You're pretty distant from the Braves. Your most likely path to the playoffs is through the wild card. So not only do you want to win the top wild card, so you end up having a home playoff series if you're in the wild card series, but you don't want to go down to DC here and lose 3 or 4 to the Nationals, because I question whether they have enough pitching to have staying power, but their offense is pretty good, and there's a chance down the road, whether that's in September when you're trying to clinch a playoff spot or in October when you're in the playoffs, that you're going to see them again. So you don't want to go into that having gone 5-8 against them during the regular season.
Yeah. Ricky, we asked Ricky about to get back to the All-Star thing. He named 6 All-Stars for the Phillies. Now does home team get a little bit of an extra advantage there because you are in Philadelphia or whatever? The Phillies are sitting at 42-36, 6 games over 500. Does that warrant 6 All-Stars, Tim?
I think that how well those top guys have performed warrants it. But you look at this list, and here's the thing with fan voting. JT Realmuto's 3rd. Bryce Harper's 3rd. Bryce Harper probably deserves to be about 3rd. Alec Boehm is 2nd. I mean, Kyle Schwarber's 2nd. I think it's unfortunate that they should just find a way to have Schwarber and Ohtani in the starting lineup. I don't care if Schwarber has to be considered an outfielder, whatever you have to do, but they both should be in the starting lineup. Bryson Stott, again, he made 2 tremendous defensive plays. Does he deserve to be an all-star? You can decide that. Brandon Marsh, I think, deserves to be an all-star in some form, whether that's a starter or a bench player, whatever. I think he will be an all-star. And then Trey Turner, again, like some of these cases where you're voting as a fan, I don't quite get it based off of I can't square the reactions I see on Twitter every night with the fact that people are still just voting for every Philly. Like, to me, I'm a guy that just vote for whoever is the most deserving player. And some of the names you see on some of these lists, and it's not just the Phillies, and I get that the Philadelphia is hosting the All-Star game this year, but it just makes me think that there should be a different way of deciding All-Stars, because there's going to be some guys in there that don't deserve to be, and that means that guys that do deserve to be, and maybe it's their only chance, or maybe this pads their resume for the Hall of Fame or whatever, don't get in. And I think that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it reeks of like when I was a little kid, you would see the All-Star game voting come out, and you'd see a bunch of Phillies near the top, and everybody would be like, oh my God, look at this. No, it was because they had a 10-game homestand. Yeah. And little Jimmy was getting the ballots.
The punch cards.
12 of them at a time and punching through every Philly that they could find. That's what that reeks of. But 6, it's funny for a team that maybe 10 games over 500 come the All-Star break. 6 is a lot, but it's really hard to argue. Duran, Sanchi, and Schwarber were Ricky's, like, no doubts. I have no problem with that. Absolutely. Marsh, yeah. I mean, he's gonna make it in because of fan voting, and he's one of the top hitters in the National League. I don't have a problem with that. I kind of like guys like that, Tim, when you go through the league and you say, oh, look at this guy. I didn't realize he's been batting like 320 throughout the year. And then you may look up more and say, man, since May 1st of last year, he's the number 1 hitter in the National League. That's pretty cool. So Marsh is a cool story. Wheeler, we'll see. He's got to have some good outings, and he did miss his first, 4 starts? So that's going to be interesting. And Harper, I think, still has to make the push. But I do think that they'll – because that's amazing. Like Ricky talked about the Braves on the team he was on in 96. They had 4 pitchers and Chipper Jones. And that was probably the best team in baseball that year. They were on the run of being the best baseball every year. To have 6, I mean, that's just incredible, but it should be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I thought coming into last weekend that maybe Harper, who had hit into some bad luck coming into it, but I just thought maybe he was going to end up on the outside looking in. But then you hit first cycle, and then you have another home run on Sunday Night Baseball. I think it would be naive to think that those things don't matter, and be naive to think that the All-Star Game being in Philly doesn't matter in this case. I don't know that Duran's a lock. I think he probably should be, but you got to – I hate that every team has to have an all-star. I think the home team should have to have an all-star, and then everyone else's merit, but every team does have to have an all-star. And because of that, some other deserving guys get squeezed out. And so I think Sanchez and Schwarber are locks, and I think just the way voting is going right now, Marsh is a lock. And then Wheeler, Wheeler, Harper, and Duran, I think, are kind of on the bubble. I would think that they get in, but I don't know that for sure. And like I said, I think over these next few weeks, you were right, particularly in the case of Wheeler, but Duran missed some time as well. Like, these guys can't have a blow up the next couple of weeks, so that really hurts their case. But Zach Wheeler is pitching, even if we don't look at him and feel like it's been quite as dominant as in the past, in terms of runs allowed, he's been as good as it gets. So if he continues anything like this, he should be in the All-Star game, and it arguably evens out some other years in his career where whether he didn't get in when he was deserving or by the end of the year you looked up and he should have been based off his production that year, he gets in. So I think it would be pretty cool for Zach Wheeler, especially given where he was a year ago.
Yeah, I do too. I would love to see Sanchez be the starter. Mizorowski did lose a game during the week against the Braves, pitched well, but he didn't come up with the win. If there's some way Sanchi can get that little momentum going before the All-Star break, and maybe Mizorowski loses a game or two, maybe Sanchez starts, I think that would be phenomenal. How cool would it be if 9th inning comes, National League's up 4-3, Duran comes out of the bullpen?
I think that's the cool scenario. Like, yes, it'd be cool if Sanchez starts. If you're going off merit right now, Mizorowski should start, and Sanchez would come in second after him. But I think cooler than having the starter would be the lights go down in the 9th inning and Joan Duran comes in to close it. And be a tough break for Mason Miller, who is pitching lights out. But clearly, if you get into that situation, you're going to lean with Duran because he's in the home park.
And Don Mattingly will probably be on the bench. He hasn't committed yet, has he, Tim? Or is it official yet?
It's not official. I don't. Baseball and sporting leagues are act like some of these things are state secrets. It's not that serious. Yes, the home manager is going to be on the coaching staff. I think that's a pretty safe bet every year.
Yeah. So if Don Mattingly goes to Dave Roberts and says, Dave, if you don't mind, can you use Joan Duran in the save opportunity here? I think Dave Roberts will give him the old, you got it. Whatever you need, Donnie Baseball. We'll get them out there for you. So, Tim, we have a bunch of covered, and we're not jumping too far ahead. We've hit on all the Philly stuff. We're going to get into some Sixers. Big night tonight with the draft. I'll be over there in Camden at the Sixers practice facility to talk to everybody after they do make their pick at number 22. But let's let the people know what we got going on for All-Star Weekend, because it is, as Ricky said, it's going to be spectacular here in Philadelphia. And our coverage is going to be all over the place because we've had so many meetings on it. talked about it endlessly. We want to give the fans what they want to see and hear about the All-Star weekend. So if you can, being as you're one of the big bosses here, let the people know what we got going on for All-Star weekend.
It's such a long list. I kind of forget who's doing what exactly. I know you, Anthony, and I will all be at the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game. There is the Swingman HBCU Classic, which I believe you're covering that. It's Ken Griffey Jr.'s event, but then you have Jimmy Rollins, I think, is going to be there, Milt Thompson, a bunch of people with Phillies connections. After that, there's like replacing the Celebrity All-Star Game. There's a 3-on-3 thing.
Well, I haven't read up on that yet. What is
I've read up, and I'm still a little confused, but it sounds interesting, so I'm looking forward to it. There is a red carpet show at, I believe, Independence Hall on All-Star Night that it is.
Are you on the red carpet?
I am not on the red carpet.
No?
Grace Del Pizzo and Luke Lendler, who was one of our interns this summer, they're going to be all over that. And like people right out of college, they're the ones that know the cool and social media and everything. So
I'm so past cool, Tim. It's pathetic. Yeah.
I aged out of it a few years ago, I feel like. Yeah, we're going to have them doing that. There's the Futures game. There's just a ton. I feel like since I got into the industry, we've been talking about July 14th, 2026, and now it's like a real date. So it's very exciting time.
And Tim, if you ever forget the date of the game, if from your seat in Citizens Bank Park, if you look out to center field, I don't know if you know this or not, there used to be a clock out there.
Yeah.
They replaced the clock with an All-Star logo that has the date on it if you ever forget it.
That's the first I'm hearing of that.
Yeah. This is a story for those that don't know. Tim is very, very upset that they removed the clock in center field and they replaced it with an All-Star logo. They did it was it in the middle of last season or before?
Yeah, it was after the All-Star break last year. First, okay. I think yes, I think the clock was cool, and I wish they'd put it back up. Doesn't seem like they're gonna, but maybe they'll move it to another part of the stadium or something. That would be cool. The thing they got rid of that really bothered me, that we said nothing at that time, was the out-of-town scoreboard. I thought that was one of the cool parts of the stadium that they got rid of. Yeah, but yeah, we've been down that road. But yes, I'm very excited for the All-Star Game, as hectic as this is all going to be. And also, there's the draft going on during that period.
That's right.
Grace will be down at I always get it confused, the Philadelphia and the Pennsylvania Convention Center, because they're right next to each other.
It's just
one of the convention centers.
Yeah.
The All-Star or the draft is going to be held out, the first round of the draft. Some of the people are going to be on site, so that's going to be really fun also.
Who's going to be the biggest star on the red carpet?
I mean, I guess it depends who all goes, but like if Bryce
that's
Harper,
obvious.
Yeah, if Bryce Harper's on the All-Star Game, or if Shohei Ohtani shows up, that would be pretty big. And then like, do celebrities show up that aren't related to baseball? And I don't know. Is
Tay going to be there?
I think, I don't know about that, but like, will Shane Gillis be there, or Kevin Hart or something? Like, maybe, who knows? So
yeah, let's get a good Philly contingent going. Bradley Cooper. Right? Yeah, maybe Kevin Bacon, local ties.
Is he local? I didn't even know that.
Kevin Bacon grew up in the area. His dad was a architect in Philadelphia. Okay. You didn't know that. Yeah. There you go. Taught you something new today.
Aubrey Plaza. Like, there's a million different people you could go with.
Sure there is. Absolutely. Just Patti LaBelle, stay away. I'm still upset that you hogged the microphone at Live Aid in 1985, but that's another story.
Are you upset about the national anthem and the 08 World Series too?
Yes, there's also that. Yeah. So Patti LaBelle, she got my ire at Live Aid at the end of the show in Philadelphia. She kind of hogged the mic. You had all these unbelievable stars, and yes, she's local and she's a star herself. But we were all sitting there. We watched it all day. My wife was actually at it. I didn't know her then, but I was like, can somebody else start singing besides Patti LaBelle? We just thought it was funny. But have you found yourself on the injured list, Tim? Well, if you have, get help now. Call Wapner Newman, Pennsylvania and New Jersey's premier medical malpractice and injury attorneys. You can give them a call at 215-569-0900 or visit wapnernewman.com. All right, Tim, big night tonight for the Philadelphia 76ers. Or is it? I mean, you got the 22nd pick overall. Huge trade in the NBA last night. Let's hit that first, Tim. You saw the Giannis going to Miami stuff with a million people involved. Where does that take you as far as what it means for Miami, what it means for Milwaukee, but also what does it mean for the Sixers in your eyes?
I guess from the Sixers, just the most exciting thing is that he didn't end up in Boston, which it seemed like was probably going to be the case. So you dodged the bullet there. Yeah. And the Heat, for most of my lifetime, have been like one of the dominant NBA franchises, whether it was Alonzo Mourning and then Shaq/Wade and then LeBron, Bosh, and Wade and Jimmy Butler. So it kind of feels right that they get back into it, and Pat Riley somehow is still going. I feel like Pat Riley's been like 80 years old my whole life, but somehow is still leading their front office kind of. So I think it's an exciting move in the NBA, and felt like one of those ones that we've been talking about for years, that things had run their course with Giannis in Milwaukee, and now he gets a fresh start, and it sucks for the fans in Milwaukee. But one of the things I think that keeps people interested in the NBA is this constant player movement.
All right, so we talked about the Sixers draft tonight, 22nd overall pick. Mike Gansey is new as the president of basketball operations. His right-hand man is Jameer Nelson. It's a total shakeup up top. Of course, Bob Myers may have some say, may not have some say on where they decide to go. Tim, just in general, before maybe I get into some specifics, like interest level, want out of tonight. What is it for you, kind of on the outside looking in, to say, well, maybe this is what I want, or I don't really give a rat's ass? Where are you?
Well, draft a player that's not going to have a Liz Frank foot injury in his rookie year is always a good place for the Sixers to start. I mean, they got Tyrese Maxey in that range, so like in theory, you can have success in that range, but we're not going to know at the end of the night. And I'm not going to, there's a lot of people, this isn't breaking news, but there's a lot of people in sports media that have no idea who the guy the Sixers are going to take is tonight. And then 30 minutes after they take him are going to act like they grinded tape. You actually did grind tape, though. I'll give you credit. But there are many people we know that have no idea. Like, you could tell them the name of the Sixers first-round pick now, and they would say who. And by tomorrow morning, they're going to be experts on it. But I want someone that can come off of the bench and score, ideally. But, yes, you also have that, if Kelly Oubre isn't back, potentially that fifth starting spot as well.
Right, which is going to be hard to do at 22. You mentioned the breakdown of tape. It was like 11:30 last night, and I literally had to be like, all right, shut the computer off, because I do, and you get like this with a lot of things, I'm sure. You guys think I'm crazy. I think I wrote like 16 or 17 total scouting reports, just my own, of these guys, and I break it down into this way. I was telling you and Anthony about it. Like, I'll watch about an hour of film on a guy. I'll get people's names that, obviously the Sixers may take at 22. Then I'll look at an hour of film. As I'm watching the film, I'll write notes. I'll stop, start, write notes. Then I'll go back and watch a littler synopsis of a tape that I just watched. So about 15 more minutes, I'll watch that. More notes, get ready to write what I'm going to write. Then I'll look and see what other people say about this guy, with his measurements and what other people say and all. Then I'll go back and watch more tape if they have something that I didn't have, or if we disagreed on something, to make sure I'm right. So one guy might take like 2.5 hours or whatever. I just love it, though. Like, I was going to bed last night. I literally turned off the lights last night and then went, oh, you know what? I did want to check this one more thing. And sure enough, went back and watched 20 more minutes of film. So we did put a lot of thought and stuff. If you're interested in what the Sixers do tonight, call up. We have it up on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Call up the players that we have. Maybe that'll help you to see, oh, they took Joe Smith. Let me see what Joe Smith was, and it'll be right there in front of you. But here's the thing with them. Are they looking for some help now? Somebody that can come off the bench or be that fifth starter, like you said, is NBA ready, but also with an eye on not only is he NBA ready now, but we can make him better if you're the Sixers speaking. Or is it a guy that you say, yeah, he's not really better now, but I think once Paul George is gone or once Joel Embiid is gone, this is the guy that can step into that role. So if you could right now hear Mike Gansey's words when we interview him tonight after they make the pick, Tim, what do you want to hear come out of his mouth in general about the pick?
Probably that they can have, I think VJ Edgecombe kind of like struck the balance between those two, that he was an immediate, fearless impact player, but there's still room for growth. And you feel like even if he's not going to be like your number one or number two on a really good team, that this is like a long-term cog. So somebody that has, I guess, somebody that's really good at a specific skill, whether that's three-point shooting, somebody that has a defined skill that you can point to and say immediately they're really good at that, and then there is legitimate room for growth elsewhere.
All right, I don't know if this guy will be available, but he is one of the guys that of about three that I would love to see the Sixers get. Again, should he be available? And keep this in your mind, folks. Bennett Sturtz from Iowa, a really slick handling point guard who can shoot the hell out of the basketball, an exciting guy, a guy that's going to come on the floor and you're going to be like, oh, this is fun. I'm kind of looking for fun. I think Sixers fans want fun, obviously productive, because productivity is fun. But that's a name that I have in my mind, so that's what I'm going to keep an eye on. All right, Tim, I have a personal question for you before we get out of here.
Sure.
You addicted to any game growing up, or maybe as an adult, or something that you just – I'll give you – so I used to go over to this outdoor basketball court behind my house, and I played there forever. It was part of the gym, and there was members there, and we would play basketball forever, and I would shoot by myself forever. When I got tired or whatever, needed to go in and get a drink, there was a bowling alley there. I would go into the bowling alley. I might have a quarter or two, and I would play Pac-Man. And I started to get like addicted to Pac-Man. Then I was like, I got to stop this. I'm missing playing basketball. So I stopped. Have you ever had a game? Because I have one now that I'm kind of addicted to. Have you had one, or do you have one now?
Yeah, there's a couple. When I was in high school, I was addicted to Temple Run. That game kind of came and went. But the one over the last year, Adam Aronson from Philly Voice actually turned me on to Yahtzee with Buddies. And I've played it like every single day for the last year with him and my mom and a bunch of other people. So that would probably be the one.
Okay. All right. I'm currently addicted to 82-0. Have you played that?
I haven't played it, but Ty Daubert is always sitting next to me in the press box playing it.
Yes, he is.
Luke Arcani, I believe, is playing it as well. So, yeah, I heard the baseball one's not quite as good, but the basketball one is really good.
I want to try the baseball. Well, the basketball one's cool because it's only 5 guys. So it literally takes you 30 seconds to get a team and see what you are. My record, my best record so far is 77-5. That's the best I've gotten so far. I had somebody text me last night, a friend who plays it all the time. He got to 78 wins. So yeah, it's pretty cool. If you're a basketball fan of years past in the called 82-0, you can call it up on Google, and it's a pretty fun game to play. So,
well, I guess I along those lines, I play Immaculate Grid every day, the baseball version.
Oh, yeah.
There's another one called Stat Pad that's really fun too. So yeah, I think I'm afraid to start playing 82-0 because I already have these two in Immaculate Grid and Stat Pad that I play every day, and I'm afraid like it becomes a responsibility at a certain point that I don't know if I can take on another thing right now.
I could see our text messages. Anybody know where Tim is? And then we would know. All right, listen, we want to thank everybody for joining us. We will be back at you on Friday morning at 10 a.m. We have a lot of really interesting stuff coming up. Obviously, Anthony Sanfilippo is with the Phillies down in Washington covering that series. Then Tim is going to go up to New York to follow the Phillies in the Mets series up there. I'll be at the NBA draft coverage for the Sixers tonight in Camden and tomorrow night for the second round, although they don't currently have a second round pick. We have a little bit of a golf thing going on Thursday with Francesco Ruscio, who's going to be golfing with Brandon Graham, Jake Elliott of the Philadelphia Eagles, and get this fourth, Bob Cooney. So we'll be out there on the links on Thursday, and we'll be doing a video of that. Go ahead.
Well, and we have Matthew DeGeorge, who has been doing World Cup coverage for us. The story he did yesterday on kind of what the scene was like during that lightning delay, I thought was really fun. So check that out if you haven't.
Oh my God! I like it. Way to go, Joe Wechter. I thought that was maybe stuff in the background here, but again, thanks for joining us. Check us out on YouTube. Do everything you can. Get on OnPattison.com. Check out all our stories, all our coverage. We want to thank Joseph A. Wechter Jr. for producing us today, and we will be wherever you want us to be and wherever you can find us all the time. Thanks for joining us, everybody.